We are good to go.
Okay. So, good morning, everybody. February 4, the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We will persevere until we succeed. Little modified Ogmandino. So the mindset call today is about, it's the second discipline of the mindset, the 4 disciplines of execution. So today we're going to talk about lead and lag measures, and the difference between a lead measure and a lag measure, what it means, and why we should focus on both with a lot of attention. So I just want to give an example. Apple and Microsoft. Apple focused on lead measures when they first started getting into the business, and Microsoft focused on lag, on what they were doing. And as a result, the one that progressed was the one who had the WIGs, the
Wildly important goal.
Wildly important goals. And that was what Apple did. They focused on the future. They focused on something revolutionary. They wanted to have a computer in every home. And Microsoft was looking to see, what are these guys doing, instead of looking forward themselves. So they were focusing on a lag measure of somebody else from other days. So that's why today Microsoft is in the back seat. So Dan?
Yeah, Lawrence, if you look at a lot of organizations, they have a lot of initiatives. They want to, they have goals that they want to reach. But depending on what you're focusing on, whether you're focusing on the lead or the lag measures, as Lawrence pointed out, is whether or not you're going to watch these initiatives die on the vine or not, right? You really have to be focused on the correct things if you want your organization to grow, if you want your business to grow. Why do these initiatives die within these organizations? Why do they die within our own organizations? The answer is because the whirlwind of urgent activity required to keep things running on the day-to-day basis devour all of the rest of that time and energy that you need to focus on the strategies for tomorrow. And so, you really need to be looking at your lead and lag measures. And I saw a very interesting quote that only 15% of employees know their organization's most important goals. Either there are no goals or they have too many. That's a pretty staggering statistic that only 15% of employees know the company's goals, right? So I think we need to be more focused on our goals, more focused on the lead measures that are going to get us to that lag. And there's a great quote from Sean Covey from the book, that focusing on the wildly important requires you to go against your basic wiring as a leader to do more, and instead focus on less so that your team can achieve more. So it's not always necessarily about how much you do, but it's the quality of the things you're doing and whether or not they are targeted to help you reach that wildly important goal. And you need to utilize lead and lag measures to do that and make sure that you're following the path where you want to get to. So a lag measure tells you, and I kind of want to define this a little bit better. A lag measure tells you whether you've achieved your goal, and a lead measure tells you if you're likely to achieve the goal. So a great example of that, simplistic example is weight loss, right? A lag measure tracks the success of your wildly important goal. So when you're talking about weight loss, what are the activities of the lead measures that will lead to weight loss? Diet and exercise, right? Proper diet and exercise predicts the success of weight loss. And those are the activities that you can directly influence, right? But you have to be careful because, a lot of times you can get into the trap of fixating on lag measures, right? What that ultimate goal is, and you don't focus enough on what those things are that you can control to get you to that lag measure, right? So, lags are easier to measure. And so that's why people tend to focus on those a little bit more. And they represent the result that we ultimately want. And so they're easier to focus on, but we need to spend more time focusing on these lead measures, the things that we can actually control, to get to that lag measure, that wildly important goal that we've set.
So you just said, for example, knowing about weight loss, diet and exercise. You also mentioned about knowing the company and what it stands for and what the company is. It's a similar thing. We have to know the heart of the company, what is it, so that we can understand really more about how we can execute our own successes in there. And in the diet, it's the same thing. Diet and exercise. What is diet? Do you know what you're eating? You've got to know what you're eating. It's not just say diet and exercise. We've got to understand what it is that we're eating so that we can then use that to the maximum advantage for the body. So it's knowing your company, knowing yourself, knowing your diet, and different things. In this case, it's the company that we're looking at. But we've got to know about the company so that we can see where it's going, how we're going to get there, and how we can maneuver that to the goals that we want as lead measures.
Yeah, exactly. In our business specifically, when we're talking about lead and lag measures, we're talking about maybe pin titles. What pin title have you set your goal to reach? I've set my goal for 18 months to reach, a certain pin title. And how am I going to get there? What are those daily activities that are going to lead to me getting there? Is it going to be, 5 three-way calls a day? Is it, connecting with 1,000 people a week on LinkedIn? Is it setting up 5 calls a day and introducing the business? There are all of these things that we can do as lead measures that are going to lead up to us reaching those pin titles. But if you don't have it well defined, it's going to be very hard to reach those goals. And Martine Hogg has a great comment in the chat here. You will arrive where your goal is. Without a goal, you will arrive nowhere, right? And you don't know when you've reached that goal. So we need to look at this second discipline as an opportunity and a definition of where we want to go with these lead and lag measures, right? So we need to define these daily or weekly measures, and then achieving those daily and weekly measures are going to lead to our ultimate goal. So each day or week, your team, your team, you need to identify those most important actions that are going to lead to these, that are going to drive those lead measures, right? That quote that I said, only 15% of employees know what their goals are. I think we need to know, and we need to divulge what our goals are to each other on our team so that we can be accountable to each other. And we can know what those goals are, what those lag measures are. If somebody on my team says, I want to reach diamond by, the end of this year, okay, let's talk about how you're going to get there. What are those things? What are you going to do to make sure that every day, all of your activities are focused on making sure that you can reach that goal, right? And then, you're creating a just-in-time plan that you can alter if you need to, right? To quickly adapt and then remain focused on that wildly important goal. So, this plan doesn't need to be rigid. We actually don't want it to be rigid. We want it to be adaptable because things change in the marketplace. I mean, look what happened 2 years ago. We got hit with the pandemic. Overnight everything got shut down and we had to pivot. And so everybody's goals kind of changed, and if you didn't have those lead measures in place and then those to be adaptable and people within your team to be adaptable, it's going to be very hard to reach those goals, right? And in our business, we need to know what products are coming down the pipeline that are going to help us reach our goals. In this case, it's, there's a gut health product coming out. There's Meta coming out later this year. How are we going to incorporate those things into reaching our wildly important goal?
So the goal is very clear should be very clear for everybody. How we get there, as you've just said, Dan, is the key. So the maneuverability of our own minds, of our own systems, personal systems. So for example, we all became good at doing whatever we were doing 3 years ago. And now we've all kind of pivoted to becoming good at social media by being able to talk to people face to face, but on a computer in some different part of the country. So we've now learned how to use, all the software that we've got, the programs and so on. And these are all things that are new, slides, PowerPoints, articulating differently. And we've actually modified what we were doing 3 years ago. Now, for example, most of my business, our business, is done also with third-party validation. In other words, the three-way call, we're now doing three-way Zoom calls. And the three-way Zoom call is slightly modified to what it was, but we've modified our way of getting there. And it's actually exciting because I think we're getting incredible results. You can see by, the results we've had in the last couple of months. Our sales keep going up and we keep getting better at what we're doing. And we're getting more people into this business. We're getting more scanners placed. I believe we've got about 80 scanners or 80 to 100 scanners a month we're placing right now. I remember we didn't place scanners, like 2 scanners every 6 months or 3 months or something. It was terrible. But the vision was there and we stuck to it. And we saw that the wildly important goal was to have scanners in all the states and so on. Initially, we started with our neighbor down the road who was an optometrist. And now we've got them everywhere. So it makes everything really exciting. So, I think we can't lose sight of where we're going. We've got to keep going with that. Modify it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And when you think about what these, the easy way to think about these measures are that the lead measures are metrics or indicators that you can execute. These lead measures are going to lead to your lag measures, right? And these lag measures, they're measures that you can't act upon. The lead measures are things that you can act upon, that you can adapt throughout your plan to reach that wildly important goal. So I just want to give you a couple examples of a lag measure. Some examples of a lag measure are, you want to increase sales by 20%. You want to, in our business, you want to reach a particular pin title. You may want to, an extra $100,000 in profit for your business, or you want to lose 10 pounds in X amount of days, X amount of months, right? And then the lag measures are what are those activities you're going to do to get there, right? What are the increase the number of hours you're working out at the gym to lose weight or get better shape. How can you draw more attention to your business? What the number of people that you reach out to on a daily basis for three-way calls or to introduce the business to. And then, so these lead measures, they help you track the critical activities that drive or lead to these lead measures. So we need to not only be thinking about these from the standpoint of our business and our organizations, but we need to also be talking about this in terms of the organizations that we place these scanners into, the doctor's offices, the gyms, the med spas, and we need to be talking about them about goal setting and how they can track this lead, these lead and lag measures. And so, I did an integration this week and we spent about 10 or 15 minutes talking about what their lead and their lag measures were. Where do you want this to go? How many people do you want to scan? When do you want to make brand rep? And how are we going to get there? You need to get that 6,000 in sales, 6,000 in point volume. How are we going to get there? How many people do you need to scan? How many people do you need to put on product to make sure that you reach that in the time that you want to reach that? And then, another lead and lag measure can be what's the, how are you going to incentivize your staff? You know, can that incentivization be a party in 3 months if they put 150 people on product? You know, and then how are they going to get there? So I just wanted to, Lawrence, do you have anything that you want to include there? Because then I want to show them a way that we can do this within the practices that we place.
I like that. Yeah, I know. Just 1 second. I just want to say that the lag is a sort of an autopsy of what happened. And we've got to dissect everything and reevaluate it, because that's where we get our direction for possible future navigation towards our destination. And but just before we get into that, just a second, I want to say also, we've all got something called My Site on our back office. And if we had understood the importance of the My Site, we've got Valentine coming up next week. So here's a wildly important goal for Valentine, where we could substantially increase the sales of our business by taking advantage of that. So, you know, by now we should all, and that's knowing our company, knowing what we've got. We've got all these tools, and here's Valentine, and we've got so many products to offer. There's a goal for next week. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, so there's two tools actually we can use to do this. The first one, Scott Bennett talks about a lot, and that's the whiteboard, right? Where we can kind of map out where our business is today, who's on our front legs, what's their level of qualification, you know, where they want to be, what our focus is going to be to help them get where they want to be, and what their total, you know, last month's sales goal for this month and go by the year end, right? These are all lag measures. The lead measures are how we're going to help them do that. And, you know, is that place, you know, make sure that they get to Ruby. You know, down here, we can kind of put some of that information of where we are today, you know, by what date we want to reach all of these pin titles, and then how we're going to get there. So we can look at our total organization volume. We can look at the goals for the total organization volume, 6 month, 12 month. Who are we recruiting? Who are our customers? You know, how many people do we need to recruit? How many customers do we need to get? So this is an excellent tool for ourselves to be using for those lead and lag measures. I will, Martine, I will drop that into the chat so that you guys can have that. Let me see if I can do that. But then there's another tool that we can utilize for the offices that we're integrating these into, and that's the wellness scorecard. I don't know if everybody's seen this, but you know, we can set an office goal. We can help them set a goal for what they want their GSV to be, and when do they want to reach that by? You know, is it 60 days, 90 days, 120 days? And then we can track their volume over the course of months. You know, is it 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in volume? And then the other thing we can utilize with this is map out their daily activities. You know, how many scans are they doing and how many ADRs are they doing? So we can record this on a daily basis. And what we can do is utilize each square for the day. So like Sunday the 1st, well, Monday, we'll do Monday, week 1. How many scans have they placed? You can put a line across here diagonally. How many scans did they do? How many subscriptions did they go on? Do the same thing every day of the week, and then you can keep track of how days that you've met goals and days that you have not met your goals, and you can color code that by red or black, right? So this is an excellent tool to be able to do that. And then you can also do staff challenges where you get them to put their scores, you know, they all scan, put their scores, they get on product, and maybe have a goal that they want to reach, 50,000 by X amount of days. And how are they going to get there? Are they going to eat more fruits and vegetables? Are they going to sleep better? Are they going to less stress, you know, do yoga or meditate? What product are they going to take to get there? So these are all, this is all set up to track these lead and lag measures. And if you don't have this tool, I believe you can get it on crispresults.com. I think it's $39 or something. You can order one of these for your practices and then kind of walk them through that process.
Tracking is everything. You know, we go and have a blood test. That's a lag measure, but it's also to see where, you know, how we've been doing. tracking is everything. And on this, which we've got as our business, how many scans we've done, how many uh, products are placed, who's doing what, even in our staff. We've got to keep not incentivizing, but keeping the staff enthusiastic about what we have. And this is where we've got to know our staff. We've got to know the products. We've got to be enthusiastic all the time. We've got to have the passion for it. And there where we can see results.
Yeah, and we're all focused here on the Pharmanex products. We're focused on the scanner. We're focused on the nutritional products. But if you're not doing something on the skincare side or doing something with Vitameal, you're leaving things on the table, right, to help you reach those goals. And if you're really driven, you're going to do whatever you need to do to reach those goals. If you're not interested in the skincare stuff, that's great. But you're going to find some people out there that are interested in the skincare. So you need to know a little bit about the skincare and how they can utilize that to build their business if that's what they're most interested in. I'm coming up this week because I want to get more involved in the Vitameal. So I'm going to use Vitameal to help me reach my goals. I'm going to create a half sheet order form with a little bit about what Vitameal is, what Nourish the Children is, and give people the option to buy the 5 meal, the 1 bag, or the 5 bag, where they get an extra one. And I'm going to carry those around with me. I'm going to talk to people about Nourish the Children and how we can help feed starving children around the world. And that's going to be one of the things that's going to help me build my business this year. So what are those things that we have? We have a lot of tools within this organization, within this company, and the company keeps giving us great products to sell. How are we going to utilize the innovation and the science and the technology that the company is giving us to reach our goals?
On the Vitameal, we discussed last week, and you're right, Dan. This is the point. When we look at our results on our back office, you can see if you have contributed anything towards Vitameal, they pay us as if we've made a sale anyway. We get a commission on it. But the point is, if each one of us does 1 or 2 or 5 bags a month in each team, we will have we'll be able to feed a lot of people. And this is the social responsibility that the company has. And I love it. And I say it's 95% of what we are, and it's only 5% of what we do. So the Vitameal, before COVID, I used to get some bags of Vitameal, and when we had our little meetings, I would have people prepare the Vitameal with different flavors and so on, and they would instead of going to Publix and getting something, I would have the Vitameal, and people would try it, and then I'd have like competitions as who's the best cook and who's going to make it the most savory and so on. So Vitameal, I agree with you, Dan, is something that we need to really, really focus on. And our team is, I think, going to make some really big noise with that, because it's a very worthwhile cause.
Absolutely. So I want to encourage everybody, if you haven't filled out your whiteboard for this year, make sure you get that done this weekend. Spend a little bit of time. It doesn't take a lot of time. Basically, just go into your V&G and see where everybody's at. Map it out on the whiteboard. Set some goals for yourself. Help set some goals with your team members, and then work with them to fill out their whiteboards. Right? What can they do? How can they get to where they want to be? How can we help them get to where we want them to be? I read Tuesday on our team call, I read a quote that 80% of people who make resolutions and set goals the first of the year have already forgotten about them by February 1st, right? And that's why a lot of people aren't successful. That's why they don't meet their goals. That's why they don't get where they want to be in life, because they don't stick to their game plan. They don't even have a game plan. And then when they do create a game plan, it only lasts in their mind for 30 days, and then they forget about it. They're not consistent. They don't have the commitment, right? And those are all things we talk about in this business. And coming out of being sick, I wasn't very consistent in things when I was sick because I just didn't have the energy. But I mean, I think Lawrence and Michael will tell you, I've made a commitment to do some awesome things in the next 18 months. And I'm doing more every day than ever have in this business, and I'm seeing better results. Right?
Imagine
And actually,
a world for children.
that's the reason that we need to write things down and have them in front of us. Because if we just think about it, it's gone. But if it's right in front of us all the time, then we're seeing it. We can, the subconscious is working all the time, and we're much more likely to succeed. We're much more likely to succeed if we write things down and have them in front of us.
Absolutely. Do we have any questions? Does anybody want to talk about what their goals are, how they're going to get there? Any suggestions for the rest of us? How we can reach our goals within this organization, within the company? We'd love come off mute, and we'd love to hear your ideas.
Hey, I wanted to just say something. Good morning, everyone. I posted something about Vitameal and Nourish the Children that you can click on after the call, or copy and paste it after the call if you're unfamiliar with this program. But as far as getting to your goals, one of the things I love about this business is you do that by helping everyone else achieve their goals.
All right. 100%. Thank you, Mike. Anybody else got anything? Okay.
Well, hey, for me, I just, I always thank you guys because of what you're doing. This biggest word in our business, is really consistency. And so you guys are talking about some excellent tools for us to use, but they're just like the resolutions. If we go, oh, that was a great call, let me do that tool, and then we just drop it or we use it for a week, it's really pretty worthless to us. And so we need to look in that mirror and say, am I as consistent as Lawrence and Dan? They are there every Friday, every week, every year. And so, such a big part of this is just getting serious in our own homes about who we are and what we're doing with this business. And are we consistent? Are we going to work at this every day? And does that match up with the goals we set? Some of us set big goals for ourselves, but are we matching who we are to those goals? So thank you, guys.
Yeah, when I first got involved in this business, I thought, hey, I can be consistent, one day a week, or, I can do this one day a week and make a big impact. But you kind of get out of your rhythm when you do that, so I firmly believe you need to be doing a little bit of it every day if you have the time, if and just be consistent with that as much as you possibly can. To Michael's point, one of the things that I love about this business is we're helping other people reach their goals, and we're going to reach our goals because of that. But it doesn't just have to be on our team, right? We can help people on other teams, and people are willing to do that. And that's what I love about this. I can help people that aren't even on my team, and there's no financial reason for me to do that. But it's about helping people and helping people reach their goals. I helped Jim Trainer do a call yesterday. There's nothing in that for me. Other than just helping Jim, if he reaches out and he says, hey, Dan, can you help me with a 3-way call, or anybody on this call? I'm happy to do it. It's just, for me, it's a lot of fun. And Jim called me afterwards. He's like, that was great. And I said, that was fun. I love doing those calls. It's just a lot, for me, it's just a lot of fun. And so, being able to help anybody at any time, I'm happy to do it. And, anybody, I'm happy to sit down and talk about your goals and how you're going to reach them, fill out your whiteboard or whatever it may be.
That's living in the abundance. If you live in the abundance, what goes around comes around. And even if you live in the scarcity, what goes around comes around. But by being in the abundance, it just happens that everything kind of gels into something really positive and good, and it goes forward. And it's a mindset of plenitude. It's a mindset of excitement, because there's so much to go around, and there is so much we can help everybody. That's absolutely true. So
I actually sell that just as much as I sell the concept of the scanner and the business of the scanner. I sell the fact that we have an awesome group of people who are all willing to help each other. We all have the same mindset to help people, help physicians, help patients, help each other. And I really sell that for people going out to the forum, because it's just a different vibe, than anything in the corporate world. It was completely different. It was everybody for themselves. What can I do to go beyond the guy ahead of me? How do I get his job? And here we don't have that. And I think it's something that we should really be talking to people about, because there's a lot of people out there that are looking for what we have as a group.
And many times, a lot of these people that we talk to, like pharma reps, medical device reps, have been in 3 or 4 or 5 companies. And it's a lonely thing when they're out there. They do all the heavy lifting, they do all the connections, the contact, the communications. And then for downsizing, outsourcing, mergers, acquisitions, they go and they're going to start all over again. And they're on their own. And to Dan's point, one of the key points that we can make to the people is to say, you've got a whole team of people to help you. You're not out there on your own fighting off all the sharks of the world. You're out there with a whole team of people that can work together and go forward. So this thing is important. I agree with you, Dan.
Hey, Dan, may sound a little flippant, but in that, what you're saying, Lawrence, about abundance, it's kind of ephemeral term. It's kind of hard for some of us to understand that, but it gets down to the phrase Zig Ziglar said many, many years ago, and it's what this business really grows on. And that is, you help people get help enough people get what they want. Don't worry, you'll end up getting what you want. I really want that stuck in my mind, because then what happens is, life should be a life of joy. Dan, all he did was help me yesterday. He didn't help himself. And at a certain point, that almost becomes his priority. And sure enough, all of that will come back to him multiple. So I do think there's a certain philosophy that Dan says isn't the corporate jive, and it's true. But there's a philosophy in our organization, particularly HCA, that really exudes that and gives each of us the opportunity to truly live the life we want to live, a joyous life.
Actually, I can't help but say something. Zig Ziglar, you mentioned, he said, brush only the teeth you want to keep. And if we apply this to our business, it's, don't abandon the people that are on your team. You got to keep in touch with them. It's a relationship. It's a building of a fortitude of a relationship. So I just felt that was kind of coherent with that.
Yeah. Zig was great.
Right. Okay, everybody. Anybody else got anything? It's 6 after.
Don't ever forget the importance and the power of belonging. People want to belong in these days of Zoom and doom. People want to belong, and this is a great group to belong to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So you've seen the proliferation of so many churches and everything else. Everybody's going towards being in a collective mindset. Try and feel good and feel warm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend.
Everybody, have a good weekend. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks. Good weekend.